this is Rhea from PennilessPainter.blogspot.com, and today we're going to touch on a very overlooked topic. We're going to be focusing on wing structure and on tail placement because they're usually really off. Wing structure, I'm just going to go over the basics of that because there's a lot of different ways to do that, but there's always a guideline for it, which is what we're going to touch on. And as for tails, even with professionals, they tend to misplace the tails. They usually make them too low or too high, so we're going to go over those. Yeah, enjoy the video.
Okay, first we're going to start with the wing structure. So what you do is you just kind of start out a bit like this. I honestly don't know the names of anything that I'm going to be doing. I don't know the correct terminology for all the little bone structures here, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Puns. But anyway, yeah, okay, just do this. And a lot of people, when they start drawing wings, they don't really know what they're doing. So just kind of get an idea of what you want first, and then go. And I'm gonna add the bone structures here, just so you can kind of see a little bit of what the bone structures look like in wings, at least from my knowledge anyway. You always need to see where you're going with this. Let's make that a little longer. So that's that. And just erase that. And now I believe these are called fingers. When you draw a wing, you want to think of it as kind of like an extension of like a hand of some sort. And these also just kind of give you a guideline of where the wings are kind of going to flare out. So we just kind of add from those using those as a baseline. And the feathers themselves, at least in my wing drawings, they're pretty basic. So there's not really much to them. They're pretty quick. And they're really just kind of elongated U's like that. Nothing too fancy. Of course, fitting your style, you can add more detail, but I just don't. So there's the main layer, and just erase the inside there. Because with the main layer, you know where the wings are going now. You know where the feathers are gonna head, so you don't need those anymore. And now I'm gonna darken this really quick just so you can see it a little better on the screen. Depth is always a good thing to add in wings too, because it makes them look cooler. Nope. Okay, yeah, these aren't really perfect. I'm just kind of throwing them on there. Alright, good enough. And now we're going to add the second layer, which is essentially going to be the longest layer, and you just kind of throw those on there too. These are really easy to do. Just in between each of the larger feathers. Just to kind of fill the space too, it looks nicer. And you don't need them on the smaller ones there, so. And now the third layer is just smaller, and there's not going to be very many of them. Now I learned the placement of these from Sword in the Stone, so I really have no idea I have no idea what these are called either. I just know they look nice and they look correct. So just throw those on there. And now that is going to give depth. It's going to show where the bone of the wing is. And those are just little tiny feathers if you can't see too close. And then there's a fourth layer. And that's it. Now I'm going to... Normally when you do this you have to draw the face and the neck and shoulders first, but I'm going to try and do it here and make it have the right placement. Yeah. Alright, let's try this. Happy. Happier. A little too far up. So this is what you don't do. Do not put it on the neck. Wings do not spurt from your neck, generally. The correct position is right around here, I believe. Yeah. Yes. And that's that. And now for the tails, I'm just going to use the same paper. And I'm going to make this YouTube friendly so I don't get kicked off. And the tails are just something, like I said in the introduction here, a lot of people do not place these in the correct spot. So watch closely. And maturely. Now you're going to want to find the tailbone. And it's not too high or not too low, it's kind of like in the middle-ish. So get an anatomy book and find the tailbone. And from my understanding, it's right around there, which is generally where I place the pant line. So it doesn't come from the from the butt, and it doesn't come from the spine either. It comes right from the center there. And that's that.